Hi, this is Dave Gimberline, and it is December 28th, and this is kind of off-season, the University of Minnesota Shotokan Karate Club training, and I welcome you all to train along. I think that today we will do a bunch of advanced kata because I have the seminar or training session coming up on the 1st, and I realize it's been a few months since I went through all the kata, and I used to do it all the time. So John and I tried the other day. We got messed up on some very easy kata that we used to do a lot. So it's good to review stuff, but if you haven't seen it before, it'll be good for you to do for the first time. So anyway, I'll pick up one foot, go around with your ankle and toes, switch away, other foot, other way. Feet together, around with your knees, other way. Feet apart, around with your hips, other way. Use your legs, pump your arms around, switch, cross, twist, kick up your heels, all right, I will be in the mirror for a second. Just stand with your feet kind of straight, so not truly in a second position, but maybe like a half a keep it out stance. Put out your left arm on the mirror, put your hand by your hip, rotate, elbow strike. 1, reach over to the other side. 2, reach. 3, reach. 4, step out deeper. 1, reach. 2, reach. 3, reach. 4. So in this position, while you're doing your elbow strike, both knees are still pushing out. Don't let one collapse in when you come across. Your hips can move forward and backwards, and so can your knees. That's where the room comes from to move. You just can't let either knee collapse in. That being said though, as we move out towards kibidachi, some people really over-exaggerate this. That's not right either. Your knees should kind of be between your hips and the floor, like you're pushing down and out into them. Slightly out is just because they don't want in. This is out too much. That's too much. So anyway, kibidachi. 1, other side. 2, other side. 3, side. 4, side. 5, side. 6, side. 7, 8. And stretch down and forward. And back. And forward. And back. And forward. And back. Reach over one shoulder. Switch. Side. Switch. Since we kind of warmed up Tekki a little bit, let's just do this part. Put your right hand up with your left hand across. Rotate your hip and twist your hand. That's 1. And then rotate all the way to the other side. 2, 3, 4, 5. So on this side, your fist faces away from you. 6, on this side it faces in towards you. 7, 8, switch hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hurry up, shake out your legs a little bit. So when you do that, it is important that your torso stays stable as you twist. So one guy, thing that really helped him is he said he imagined he was a tank turret turning. The whole turret turns from the bottom. That didn't help me, but he was so happy with it that I often tell people, if that helps you, that's good. What is important though is to start to feel like you're just one piece. Some of you, especially with this one, your hip goes 1, 2, 1, 2. It's too late. Your hip and arm have to move the same time when they hit. That's a little better. Let's see. All right, let's practice this in Tekki. You've got your left hand out, right hand at your hip. Your hip is going to reach out, then it pulls back, then it hits in. Then do it again. Your left arm is out, reach, pull, hit. Left hand is out, reach, pull, hit. Left hand is out, reach, pull, hit. Left hand is out, reach, pull, hit. Okay, a little bit. So the explanations they gave me when I was learning it, I no longer believe in. But the form matters, and often the path of the hands matter. So this isn't sitting way out there. It's a little bit in towards the middle of your body. Try to get it in there. This hand is going to cover your face. If somebody's punching, it crosses over just enough to cover in and then out to the side. So from the side, this is straight this way, except I'm twisting my hip a little bit, so it's back further. But I don't leave my hip here and pull my hand back, because your shoulder is only stable so far back. John Noel, your fist face forward here. Yep, better. Yep. Hold on a second. Oh. And then the same deal, when you move your hip, your hand has to move at the same time. Shock. Yep. And there are all kinds of little things that people at one time or another have changed because that's how they thought it should go. Some people scoop this fist a little bit. It's bent because they think they're catching a hand, dragging it off to the side. I still do that because I like it. Then for a while I was taught to turn your fist first so that all the way out your knuckles are striking. Come over here a second. So if my hand is this way and I'm striking the side of his face and I twist at the end, when I get there my little knuckle hits and then my hand rotates, I can break my own fingers on his face. So that made sense to me. Turn it and then strike directly in with the knuckle. This is the same if I decide this is a downward strike. It's even more natural to turn it first and then hit down. And if I loop under and come up, it's the same thing. I want to hit with these knuckles. So there's 3 paths there that I mentioned. Coming straight in this way, coming down on somebody, dropping and coming up. Different people teach it that way. And I think they're all correct. There's always a good reason to do each of those. But I do think hitting with your knuckles, in most cases, your big knuckles, makes more sense than letting your little knuckle hit first and then roll over. So, although the form feels better sometimes to twist at the end because it locks your elbow and arm in, when you start to hit things with it, that's not a good idea. Turning it first and going adds a different dimension. Try your other hand. Put your right hand up. Left hand at your side. Reach with your left hip. Reach, pull, hit. Inside block with your right hand. Reach, pull, hit. Right hand block. Reach, pull, hit. Reach, pull, hit. Uh-oh. So Jean Noel, just one hand. I will do, you got your left hand up, that's good. Put your right hand there. Yep. This hand's just going to stay here pretty much. This one goes out, comes back, and hits. Yep. Just right. Now in the middle, you got that same path. In the middle, this one can stab the guy. Boom. But your right hand is doing, let's say, the blocking and striking, and this hand just takes care of him for a second. And you may know, depends on what you watched, I guess. Anytime your hand's like this, you're probably messing with somebody's arm. So if he came out and grabbed me with both arms, this is a terrible, intimidating situation. If I put this arm across here, ooh, now I'm in charge. Whoa, I can hit him easily with his hand. Can you see that? Changes the dynamic completely. So just anytime you have an arm here, da da da, pa pa pa, right? 1, 2. And anytime your arm is here, if I'm crossing over, hang on, just this one. If I cross over this way, oh look, takes him way off balance. Hit, strike, strike, whatever the kata is. But anytime your hand's here, just assume you're doing that. It could be a punch, it could be an elbow strike, it could be lots of stuff, but that's a good place to start. Because it's super common. Grab with one hand and punch with the other. Yeah, oh my God. If I mess with this hand, this one goes away. Look at that. Just that little bit, just that cover moved him. So, trying to do whatever you can. All right, since I did all these little introductory parts to Tekki, we'll do this next part. Put one hand out to the side, put your left out, I'll be a mirror. Rotate your hips and elbow strike. That's one, your hip rotates to the side. Your hip's gonna rotate back straight when you stack your hands. 2, this way. Then your hip vibrates. To throw that out, vibrate, and then hook punch, vibrate. So this is not the only way to do this, and I'd love to tell you, no, it's the only way, you have to do it that way all the time. But there's valid reasons for doing it different. But when you first learn, this is good. You're going to go rotate, rotate, vibrate, vibrate. And then you can change it later if your application's different. James, your elbow has to be in just a little bit. Yep, that's good. Here we go. Left arm out. Rotate, rotate, vibrate, vibrate. Let's put your right hand up. Rotate, rotate, vibrate, vibrate. Put your left hand out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Put your left hand or right hand out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So every opportunity you want to hit with your legs and body. So there are some places that think a strong stance is super important, and then they do all this with their arms and they didn't move their legs. So sometimes the leg movement is very small, but it should always kind of be in there. Like where I said reach, pull, hit, it's in there. Maybe it's smaller. And people say, oh, it's hip vibration. Well, it kind of is, but it's kind of just your legs making sure it does the work when it hits something. So yeah, it is one of the good reasons to stand in this stance and do stuff is to learn to use your legs all by itself and move your body. There are whole variations of Shotokan though, they kind of forgot that and they keep their legs good and straight and strong and everything is upper body, and that's kind of anti-karate thinking. All right, try Tekki Shodan. Keep you over here and face that way. And let's see. I'm a mirror. Tekki Shodan. Out. Boy. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Am I doing this right? I'm doing it wrong.
No, you're doing it right. On that side.
1, 2. We should be moving the same way. 3, Hey, stay back up. Wait. You're doing it wrong.
No.
Yes. No.
No.
You're doing the normal Tekki Shodan.
Oh, am I supposed to be doing it?
Yes, you do the normal one. I do the backwards
Well,
one.
the normal one's this way.
Is it? All right then. Here we go.
Isn't it?
I think it is.
I thought
We're going to do it again, and this is going to work better this time. Tekki Shodan.
Take a shot.
Boy. Feet together. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Good. There's. So James, I only caught a split second there. When your hand goes to the side, it keeps that same 90-degree bend. Yours looked like it was very far out there. Stays bent. Yep. That's right, John Noel. That did go way better. Did that help to have me do a mirror and him do the regular way? Or is it, okay, here we go, do it again. Oh, we're not going to keep this up forever. You get like 3 tekkies and after that it doesn't work. Go ahead. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. What? First. Any questions? Yes.
So for Sensei, this move where we are striking here,
Yep.
exactly what these are, or what is the bunkai for this technique?
Again, like a lot of stuff, there are many, but this is an easy one. Before I say it's an easy one, I want to make sure. Okay, let's do that. The movement. I'm having a hard time picking. All right, we're going to do this one. You're going to go 1, 2. So that all in itself is one application that you kind of need to know about. And it's a super simple one and super important, and it's called an arm wrap. So if he comes here to throw a punch at me, this picks up my arms for my flinch reflex because I don't want to get hurt, right? I could retreat, but that would allow him to continue to attack, and that would not be a very good strategy, even though it's common in kumite. For self-defense, it's not a good idea. I'm going to try to control him and move in just a little bit. So when the punch comes, I'm moving in. I'm going to wrap this and hit him here. So see his arm? Run this way. 1, 2. Yep. So this hyperextends his elbow and picks him up. This hits up, yep, down, in, wherever my target is. And he's stuck here in between the two. Now what wrecks this is this elbow, if it does that, if I have poor posture, I go to here, I got him. I drop this elbow, I don't have him anymore. He can pull his arm out. He can do whatever he wants to with it. It's loose. So the structure here actually matters a lot. And I just have to mention, you can also arm wrap this way. Nothing wrong with it. It tends to look like these. So if he could throw a punch, I have to arm wrap it and hug it into me. See, I get the same reaction out of him. He's lifting a little bit. But this one actually works better for this particular instance. So now all we got left are these. 1, 2, and then 1, 2. So he threw a punch, and I went 1, 2. This could be kicking into the groin, could be stomping into this leg. But after that, this winds up and smacks across here and goes to the side. So directly underneath his ear, right there, super vulnerable. It's your cervical plexus. It doesn't require much to get a reaction from it. And you start hitting there, you can bend or buckle their knees pretty easily. So most people that think pressure points don't work have not experienced pressure points. Tighten up a little. They'll take a beating and think, well, that didn't hurt me. And then you touch them and you get a big different response if you know exactly what to touch and where to go. So that's true of all of these things. He throws the punch, I'm in a trap just above his elbow, his triceps tendon that gets that response. It makes these very vulnerable. I'm going to smack into there. Makes this wide open just above his knee, hit there, and across here, hit. There's very few people that would still be standing there. But if he is, hit him again and come back across the other side. 1, 2, 1, 2. So, like many things, you could do 5 really good variations of that, or even different categories of applications. But this is one I kind of settled on for a while. I like because it has the arm wrap in it, and I think people have to learn that. All other martial artists know how to do that. Boxers, when they get hit, they wrap this arm and start beating on the guy with the other hand. Karate people apparently don't know how to do that. So I think it's important that we learn. And I think it's an inherent part of the art. Every time they talk about pulling your arm back, it's because you got a hold of the guy and you're holding him. So even in a rising block, this can either pull all the way down to here as your knee comes in and your arms come up, or I can wrap his arm and come in and come up and end up looking more like this. And so that's why some styles look different. Some of them decided this was the application. Some of them thought this was the application. Some of them pull this way because they think that's the application. They're all right, as long as what they do works. So, there you go. Good question, though. Tekki Nidan. You gonna remember how to turn? All right. Only goes to the right. Okay, I got this. Tekki Nidan, all right? Boy, this way. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. I have it. Iris. So the applications for this kind of stuff, where you cross your foot, pick it up, and go like this. I just want to mention this one because it's very similar to what I did here with striking against the neck. It's worth understanding that this is a muscle memory for this turn. This position is this position. See my feet? They're still turned. It's just the turn is hidden. So in Tekki Shodan, can you grab with this hand and punch with this one? The turn might be that. Pick your leg up and swing. 1, 2, 3. It's like the most important part, but they kind of keep it secret, so not like everybody knows, they still have the muscle memory part in there. In Tekki Nidan, I'm going to say, let's start the same way. You go here, that's this. So you go 1, 2, 3. Let's say he's attacking, and he's going to grab with one or both hands, it doesn't really matter. And my turn is the part that moves him over there, and I pick this up, and then I come across. Can you kind of see that? Without the turn, he throws the punch, you cover with this, and strike with that. 1, 2. 1, 2. So it's pretty easy if you do exactly this motion, and then you put a body here. 1, 2. It's like, oh, that makes sense. 1, 2. Good. Okay? I showed this not too long ago, so I don't want to babble on a whole bunch of stuff, but a application to this in Tekki Shodan is that somebody's grabbed your wrist and you're going to do this. That's the part where you put them down. You pick your knee up, strike across, strike across. Can you see it? Ba, ba. But this is the important part that traps it. So you do that to me, and I am at his mercy, right? So as a defense, what he doesn't know about is I'm going to squeeze here against this finger and squeeze here against this and stand up like this, like in Tekki, like this. So I can't see an angle here. So, yep, you do me. Good. I want to get out of it. I stand up like this. 1, 2, 3. Come across. It's a counter for the first one. Or it can be a counter. It doesn't have to be. All right, one more Tekki Nidan. Out. Tekki Nidan.
Tekki Nidan.
Boy. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There you go. Hires. Good job. So, in watching a few of you, it is important at one point to make sure your hip action matches your hands. So a little bit, people wiggle their hips and they move their hands, unrelated. And like I broke it down the first time, reach, pull, hit, you should start to kind of feel that way. Squeeze, go, boom, they match the turn. Some people can fake it by wiggling their hips, moving their arms, wiggling their hips, and it doesn't actually help the action any. That being said, there are some styles, some practitioners that move their hips a lot, and it does help their technique. It's I don't even remember the Chinese or the Japanese name for it, but it's the force that shakes through your body into the target, and some of them get really good at it. But some people copy that, and they're not really good at it. So it'll come up here in Tekki Sandan. And as I mentioned before, Tekki Shodan has this in it, and Tekki Sandan has this. But your hips still match. Pull, hit, reach, pull, hit, reach. It still matches one for one. You just go quick enough that it looks like your hips are vibrating. So I thought I knew that, and long ago, in 1994, when I was preparing for my Sandan test, I was working on Tekki Sandan because they asked that one a lot as a second kata. They wanted to see people do it. And I broke it down, and on this side, I was whipping away, everything was great. And I got over on this side, and my hip was moving the opposite of the way it was supposed to go. I was just wiggling my hip and moving my arm. So I had to reprogram myself, which really means slowing it down. Reach, pull, hit, pull, till it becomes, you start to think of your leg and hip center hitting each time. It makes way more sense. It's easier than just moving your hip and moving your hand because you're supposed to. So, here we go. We will try. I do not know. I know by myself I can't do this mirror image, but maybe with an assistant I can. Tekki Sandan. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. So the arm motion thing, hold on just a second. Oh, they're back, okay. It is possible to break down the arm motion this way, but I don't think this is what it's for, but it helps you understand the pattern. So they take a swing at you and you block it. Take a swing with the other hand and you block it. They punch face, you block it, they punch face, you block it, they punch body, you block it, they punch body, you pull, they punch body, you hit, they punch head, you block. It is that you can do that, but it's other than learning the pattern, it's worthless because you wouldn't ever do that. It's more that the guy takes a swing at you, that's the only shot he gets, right? After that, you just wail on him, and if he threw out another punch, your other hand would be covering it because you're already there anyway, just making sure you're always covered. So it's an excellent strategy, and it is similar to Kali or Eskrima, where one stick is always coming back and one coming out. Not the same, but similar in concept. So it shows up in other kata too, in weird places where you're hitting and blocking, hitting and blocking, hitting and blocking. This is just the most prolonged, but I think it's a multiple, basically an attack of beating the guy into submission, not waiting for a technique to come so you can match it. Here we go. Do we want to do this once? Any question about what we just did? We're going to do it again. Tekki Sandan. All right. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hey, Iris. I gotta say, the whole group followed along really good there. Is part of it just having me be a mirror and him doing it the right way that it's easier to follow? Huh. Well, I don't think I can make it through Bassai. Mirror image. Maybe I can. All right, we're gonna try Bassai. I will face 90 degrees, you face this way. So you can watch me and follow him and get a good view of what's going on. So out, Bassai.
Bassai.
Boy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 8. Right. Rest. Try it again. Out. And move over here more. I'm going to watch and count. Boy. Down low. James, down low by your belt. Yeah, like it's heavy. 1. How you go back? So there are a dozen ways to do this first move. The older videos I look at, half of them did have this lift and then go. And then half of them didn't, they just step forward. And it totally depends on what you think the application is, but I like the lift and I like the way it trains your body. So that's what I teach. This though, in our system and our style right now, I want this to lift up high, over your shoulder, by your cheek, and then drop with your body weight. Some of you are bringing it from down here and then up, which is totally a way many people do it. So I think a big mistake, you face me with the left leg forward, down block, and go back a ways. A little more. A mistake is people think he's going to step and punch, and I'm going to slide forward and block him. So if he punches over there, why would I slide forward and do anything? I'm not under any threat. And of my choices, I don't like it. You know, it's not kind of silly. So if you put him in close, switch sides. When he throws a punch, this is your flinch. Picture your hands up to protect you. This is a modified fetal position, like, oh, I don't want to get hurt. It's totally a flinch. He throws it, whoa, my knee happens to run into him. As I block this, then my body weight drops on here and moves him backwards. So there are a million subtle things, but that's a basic idea, is up, down. Yep, that's pretty good. And then you can do stuff like on the way up, clip his face. On the way down, clip his chest, clip his chin, clip his face, whatever happens to be there. And one more thing. When he throws the punch, that's irritating. Throws it again, that's way worse. That vibration, that where you catch it. Now, if he's close enough, instead of his arm, this is his head. Whoa! Drive your knee in, catch his head. Whoa! Bah. But all of those, have your hands up here. There are, you can go down, but I don't want it right now. But there are another series of applications where your hands will be down and then coming up. So that's fine. If you happen to know those, you can explain it to me. I'll say, sure, do it that way. But this tends to match your body motion better, up, down. And kind of your target here is to just lay your arm. Everything from that point on his ear down across his throat is a target. So people can brace for some stuff, but not for everything. And if you just hit them first, that's a pretty wide open shot. So if we had mats and more room and less fire, I could drive them backwards and you could see it. But anyway, start here. You're on the mark. Up, down. One. Much better. Now don't turn so far forward, James. Just stay kind of a natural, kind of 45, kind of 30, where your body weight hits. Turning too much doesn't help you. Yep. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You didn't stop at the bottom. 8, 9. Don't move, right there. 1, stack. Feet apart, done well. Not that far, you Fung. 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. James, put your hip down a little bit. 3, 4. Turn sideways, you Fung. 1. 2. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, step. 2. 1, 2. 1. Okay, James and Malia and a little bit John Noel. Most of my people already know this because we do it over and over again. Very common to sit here in any stance, but in this case, kibarach, and do your arm. Your body is supposed to do the work. So to teach yourself to do that, wind your hip and body into your right leg this way, wind it up, and then push it out. 2. Now in reality, it might be smaller, 2, but it's in there. You want your legs to hit the target, not just your arm. So it is a good thing to remember, you never move just your arm. Use your legs, use your center, use your mental intensity, direction, intent. Anyway, here you are. Crescent kick, elbow strike. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. James, you should be going the other way. Okay, that's good enough then. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Big turn. 1, 2. Put your fist lower than your elbow. 1, 2, 3. James, drop your front hip just a tiny bit. Bring your elbow in a tiny bit. Hey up, boy. There's. So this part's worth talking about a little bit, I guess. You're in Kivirach, and you just did the third one of these. You're going to stack your hands on your hip, and I want you to adjust your stance this way, and then use your leg, your back left leg, to throw your arms. So if I'm a mirror, you stack on your left hip, use your hip, throw your arms up. Pretty good. Malia, turn your back foot way in, like a front stance. Not out there. Yep. All right, so then you draw back in. Well, here, an application for that is somebody's throwing a punch at me, and you know, the standard one is I'm blocking and hitting at the same time. And this is actually an excellent idea as far as making sure you're covering as you're hitting. Nothing wrong with it. It doesn't explain the stack though, right? So the explanation would be I see somebody attacking me and I put my hands here as he hits. That doesn't make any sense. He'd hit me in the face, right? So the reason for the stack is that I'm catching this hand and pulling it in just enough that he runs into my hands when I do this. Maybe he's super tough. He might take this. Bam, bam, bam. He might. He won't take this. 1, 2. 1, 2. And it helps your legs pull, hit. It helps your legs be more active. I can see it when you do it just from thinking about it. So the other two are exactly the same way. The stacking part is catching. And then, that one's in. You pick your knee up and hit them. And then go. It's just a variation of the same thing. Right? So if somebody came up with a thing they really liked, and here's 3 variations. One is he throws the punch and I hit him. Whoa, awesome idea. One is he throws the punch and I pull him and I hit him. Also good. One is he throws the punch and I pull him and I knee him and I hit him. So who's to, oh, that won't work. Oh yeah, it will. Give it a try. They buckle very quickly. The problem is most of these things are not in kumite because they hurt people and because they don't look like, you know, what we expect with big long distance techniques. So people tend to underestimate their effectiveness when they're super effective. There's a whole other series of where they can be throws, dropping one side down, picking the other side up, especially when it comes to here. But another day. Any questions about Bassai? No? All right, we're going to try Kanku. I'm not going to do it backwards. Do it sideways, though.
This is Kanku now?
It is. Feet together. Up. Kanku.
Kanku.
Oi. 1. As your hands get to your head, look up. When you get to about 45 degrees, break. And your right hand hits your left palm. 1, 2. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2. This is like hand Nidan. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now it's a little like hand Yondan. We're going to turn to do this. 1, 2, 3. Turn this way. 4, 5. Do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you do 4 knife hand blocks? No, now we kick. Side snap, back fist strike. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Catch this way. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Block punch. 1, 2, 3. Side snap. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, big steering wheel. 2, 3, 4. 1. Yep. First. Any questions about that? Kanku was said to be Sensei Funakoshi's favorite kata to watch. It is said that Itosu drew from the advanced katas, primarily Kanku, which was called Kusanku, as he developed the hands. And you can see that because parts of hand, Nidan, Sandan, Yonan, and Godan are all in there, plus a little bit of Tekki. So, easy to believe. So, I don't think Yufeng and John Noel work on that very often, because we don't do it that often. James and Malia, do you already know how to do Kanku?
No, that was the first time.
Well, all right, let's do it a little slower then. The name of the kata is confusing because Kusanku and Kanku don't mean the same thing, and Kusanku is what it came from. But I do know this. Kanku they often talk about to look at the sky, right? So that's this position where you're looking up at the sky, at the heavens. Ku, in the middle of that, in Kanku means emptiness, like Kara. So I believe, I was told at one time that Ku and like karate is empty hand, empty of anger, empty of emotional baggage, kind of is what he meant, not any weapons. The Ku in Kanku is supposed to be the same character. I don't know that, but that's what I remember being told, which I thought was kind of cool. So philosophically, this is you centering yourself, entering, opening up to the sky, the heavens, taking away your anger, your frustration. Some people use it for breathing exercises, lifting up and over. I know for a fact in Okinawa it was this way for a self-defense reason. Remember Bassai, where you cover your head when you hit? This is somebody throws a punch, boom, and you do that. You cover your head and you hit. But the Japanese didn't think this looked very dignified, and they didn't know what it was for, so they stood everybody up straight and did it this way. There is a few interesting things to learn from just that motion as far as body dynamics. When we do it, these two fingers on your right hand cover these two fingernails, and your right thumbnail covers your left thumbnail that way. So we're very specific when we do that. Some of the Okinawans are not. They just put their hands however they want, which is fine. But when you get to here, you want to expand out into the universe, and yet your center has to compress into the floor. So these two things seem to be opposite, and it took me a long time to figure out. So you cannot go apart like I'm weak, and you can't go where I'm together but not the right pattern. It's got to explode and push down. It's kind of a cool sensation. And then there's another contraction here where this hits, squeezing. Yep. So a reason to do that, if you wanted to know, you have to step. So this is in there, and then this is in there. But the steps are missing. It's just the hands. So if he threw a punch at me, a little closer so you stay in the camera. He threw, whoa, I'd be hit him and go back this way. And then I'm going to step next to him, hold his hip, and drive into the groin. Ah. Hit, hit. Can you kind of see? So, let's see. I want you to be, yep, just like that. What makes this work is being close, though. So he throws the punch, I knock him backwards. When I step in here, I am right next to him, whoa, striking. There's no room for him to move. I have his elbow trapped, I have his hip trapped so it can't escape as my hand smashes into groin. Bah! Right, so this might work all by itself, and actually shows up in Kata a lot. This will work more, where you can't escape. Yep. Anyway, try it again. Kanku dai. Out. Kanku dai. Go ahead. 1. Looking up. 2. Contract. You're going to drop straight down and do this way up high. 1, 2, 1. This is like Bassai. You cover and then you hit. And it's still like Bassai. You're going to go 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. Then it's exactly like Tekki Nidan. I'm sorry, hand Nidan, because that's where it came from. You go 1, 2, 3. Then 2 more knife hand blocks on the spear and strike. 1, 2, 3. Now you do this big turn, like a hand Yondan. 1. Then after you kick, don't move for a second. You have to contract, and then your body has to turn to do one of these. 2, 3. Then you stab like hand go down. 4, 5. Keep this forward. Don't let it come back. Do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Side snap, elbow, hand down here, Yufeng. Side snap, elbow. 1, 2. 1, 2. 4 knife hand blocks like the end of hand Shodan. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, so they teach this different ways. The way I was taught it at first was you're catching a punch, and then you fall to the ground for no reason. Oh, there's a guy behind you with a stick. That's it. Guy behind you with a stick. And then he swings around, tries to hit you again, and you block him with your hand. And then they figured out, step and punch, other leg forward. Just put your hand up. But there's no way this makes sense, right? So they changed it, and they said he's swinging his stick, and I'm coming in and hitting them, and then I'm going to drop underneath the stick as it goes by. And when I first heard that, I thought, that is a great idea. And then I tried it, and I discovered it was not a great idea. The momentum of the stick will hit you every time, no matter how fast you think you are. Gravity's not enough to beat the stick. If you had to beat the stick, don't hit the pin. Don't hit the pin. Sideways swing. If I go like that and try to drop, he'll clip me every time. Because he's not being careful, he's trying to hit you. If you had to beat the stick, you'd be smarter to drive through there, keep going. Don't stop. So what you gotta hope is the momentum is stopped partially by that punch, partially by me blocking where his hand is, but now I have to continue to get out of the way. Don't stop there. So when I tried this, I realized that was a stupid, don't do it, bad idea. And yet, the original idea, this way and down, works just fine the way it is. The person just has to be close enough to hit you. Switch your feet with just so they can see. No, this hand. Take a swing. This is going to cover. I'm going to knee him and hit him. Whoa! And then I'm going to drop to the ground with them. And then somebody does try to stomp on your leg, and you go, whoa, whoa, and finish them off. That part I think works okay. Not great, but I've done it successfully several times when the person was not being particularly cooperative. So your timing is important, but just trying to say that works. It makes you move pretty quickly. There are other applications from Kusanku that have to do with hopping your feet around and stuff, and we don't do that, so I can't talk about it right now. But anyway, what I want you to do is go 1, 2, and fall. Yep. So you're falling down. You're down here. You stay this bent on your right leg, and you just turn into a super low back stance. Then you come up to a normal stance. 3. Then you do an inside block counter punch, 45 degrees this way. 1, 2, 90 degrees I should have said. Then behind you. 1, 2, 3. Forgot what comes next.
Is this last one of these?
Is it?
I think so. Yeah.
1, 2, says John. 3.
Oh yeah.
Then like in hand Sandan, this comes behind your back, and Kanku comes behind your neck. 1, and then drop this fist down straight. Strike you with the back of your knuckles. Then hit him again. 2. 1, 2, 3. This is a little tricky. This stays here, and your body comes up, and then arms switch places, and then you punch straight down. Then you come up. So your right arm stays there, your left leg goes up and down. 1, up, down. Right hand's up. 2, punch down. 3. 1, 1, 2. Hey up. Rest. So, in many parts of the world, when they come up, they only do one hand. And then, our region, our organization, did 2 hands, which is what I learned. Then they decided there should be a stop to show that you're hitting something. So they came up with 1, 2, which I never liked. It doesn't feel right. Then they decided, well, stopping down there doesn't make sense if you're trying to take away somebody's balance. So they came up with 1, Superman, 2, which was worse. So I eliminated all the stops, and when I stand up, I just go the way I originally learned. I do both hands and I stand up. This is an interesting kata in that it doesn't end and start the same way. Starts this way, ends this way. Not all kata do that. A few do. Any questions about Kanku Dai? There are many other videos of me teaching more parts. So if you want to go back and watch those, you can. Otherwise, I think we're done for today. Okay? Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, guys.